know that you are still called.
Teens and young adults, expanding the gospel reach, exposing the future generation of believers to creative ministry mindset.
You got 1 moment.
Son, if that ain't Jesus calling, shut it off.
This is the Hall Podcast.
Ad-libs.
Yup.
Ad-libs.
Yup.
Ad-libs. What it do, y'all? Another episode, another day. I am your girl, Kelsee, and I got with me,
Samaya, a devoted member of the Call Ministry.
period.
Yeah, period. And Ryan, another devoted member of the Call Ministry.
Period. Thank y'all, ladies, for joining me today. I appreciate y'all. I got a question for y'all. Are y'all from Murfreesboro? If not, like, where are y'all from? I know a little bit, but I don't know exactly.
So, I mean, I was raised down here. I'm originally from New Jersey, but I was raised down here, so you could say I'm from Murfreesboro. And I'd say, like, when we first came here, very different, a little more, I ain't gonna say a little more country, but, like, nothing was out here.
Right.
Like, the avenue wasn't out here yet. Like, it was just kind of very spacious. Now it's like, everybody and their mama want to come to Murfreesboro, you know.
Right.
Can't get a job, so it's just like, oh, it's like new faces everywhere. But I mean, it's like I feel like it's a nice little town, nice little college town. There are moments though where I do need a break, a new type of scenery from Murfreesboro. But other than that, Murfreesboro's pretty cool for the most part.
Murfreesboro's full, by the way. Don't come. Don't.
Yeah. Like let's not turn this into Atlanta or like.
No.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
so
a
tired.
little full over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was raised here. I was born in like a little country town from not too far from here, but I was raised here. Mm-hmm. The only time I didn't live in Murfreesboro is actually now I live in Christiana, but that's basically Murfreesboro.
Yeah.
I lived in Christiana too for a couple of years. I honestly don't remember exactly how many years because it was when I was a kid, but we used to live out there. We had a house out there. I've lived in the city. Currently, I live in Las Casas, but my mom's side of the family is originally from like the Memphis, Mississippi area, and then my dad is from Chester County, Tennessee, and my stepdad is from Louisiana. So I've been just from the South. It's, at this point, I'm from the South.
Yeah.
But I've lived in Murfreesboro for the majority of my life. I graduated from Siegel High School. So, yeah.
Siegel. No, Siegel.
Boo stars.
That's all right. Not too much on us. Not too much.
Nah, all my schools have been here. Like Barfoot Elementary, Christiana Middle, and Riverdale High School. Went to Memphis for a little bit, and I come back home. So.
Period.
Yep.
I ain't been nowhere. Been nowhere but here.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. We love stability. We love in one spot, get it all right there, and then you let you branch out on your own. But what was it like for y'all growing up here? Good old Murfreesboro.
It was cool. Like I feel like if I was raised up north, like how I feel like I would have turned out a little different. Like here, it was kind of like a mixing pot. Like I was able to learn how to adapt to different friend groups. Like I had, like in Christiana, I would say I had like a lot of white friends in Christiana.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the only black girl. So it's like, oh, you're the black, you're the white girl trapped in the black girl. No, it's not that. And then like I also like with dance, like I had my black friends. It's like I had black friends at school.
Mm-hmm.
Probably towards I would say more of like high school. That's when
Right.
Yeah, I would say though, like I wouldn't say I was whitewashed in middle school, but I was like wearing the Simply Southern, even though like.
Period. Not too much on the Simply Southern.
No, like
not too much on the Simply
don't get me
Southern.
wrong, like I enjoy Simply.
I love me some comfort colors of Simply Southern.
I did. I enjoyed Simply Southern.
I sleep in Simply Southern.
That's what I'm saying. Like like wore the Sperry's. And,
Period. Had some of them.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, it's been different, but it's also like been different coming back. Like I kind of have now that like I went to like Memphis and like majority of my friends they're black, so it's like it's different. It's different.
Yeah.
Murfreesboro and Memphis, but I'd say I've had the pleasure of growing up here. Like I don't think I would have it any other way. Like I feel like I've met the people that I needed to meet, come across, and I'm just blessed and thankful for that. So
For sure.
yeah.
For me, well, my parents, they grew up in Coffee County, so it was small, only black kids in school pretty much. So I had a better chance here than they did when it comes to, like, seeing a whole lot of other people that look like me in school. But then, like, for high school, I went to Central, and that's like 80% white. So it was like a culture shock for me because I had never experienced that before. So I also experienced the whole, like, oh, white girl. And I always was told, oh, you talk so proper for a black girl. What do you mean by that?
Right. Like, what is that really? Like, what does that really
mean anything.
We talk proper for black people is crazy to me because, like, what are we supposed to sound
No,
like?
for real. What did you expect me to sound like?
Right.
I sound like who I sound like. That sound like me.
Exactly.
Or then they see the house I live in. Oh, girl.
Oh.
It's just the regular.
What the house supposed to look like?
I hate that. But like so going back to college, like when I got to MTSU, now I'm seeing more black people again, and I'm like, finally.
Yeah.
Because there's like 5 black people at Central, and they not like the best kind of black people over there. I'm gonna be so real.
But you know what? I understand what you mean because I went to the elementary school that's right by Central, John Pittard Elementary. Homer Pittard, yeah, John Pittard, not Homer Pittard, John Pittard. I went to John Pittard for my 5th and 6th grade year. I was actually the last 6th grade class that they had there. It was literally my first year I went there. It was like, plus me, it was 2 black people. No, 2 black people, and then one, he was like a different race, like somewhere else. And then that was pretty much it. Like everybody else was white. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, and then it was like it was the same way my 6th grade year. Yeah. It was like 2 or 3 of us, and then the rest of the class. Yeah. So yeah, I totally get that.
A problem I ran into more than I thought I would was the amount of like outward racists who were hiding behind Christianity. Oh, that's a thing that I saw a whole lot. They were like, oh, you should come to church with me. But then they're, like slipping out the N-word in class and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, I don't do that.
Cool.
I remember, like, okay, me, because I was in the advanced classes, the honors classes, or whatever. And, like, I'd be like, maybe like 2 or 3 of us black people in there. And I remember my freshman year of high school, Miss Castro, I love her. She's my English teacher.
Oh, and my brother had her.
And I remember we were reading about Frederick Douglass, right? And it was this white kid, and he's just like, wow, why are we learning about this? Like, I'm like, we learn about y'all people every day, like every day of the year. Like, we can't have our like little moments.
Right.
Like, he was like, I just feel like Samaya should be the only one reading about this. Yeah, I was heated, and like I told my teacher, and she definitely was like, nah, that's not, we not about to do that. Absolutely not. We all need to learn about this. Like, this is a project, and for you to sit there and it's just like, I'm the only one who need to be learning about this.
Right.
So if that's the case, and I could be ignorant and be like, well, I don't need to learn about George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. I don't need to learn nothing about them.
Yeah, because I don't do nothing for me now.
Like, but hey,
I get that. For my freshman year of college, I went to what was that place called? Oh, Martin Methodist. Well, now it's called like UT Southern or something like that. But before it was UT Southern, it was Martin Methodist, and that is where I had the majority of my racist experience because it's the home of the KKK. Like I was right in the heart, right in the center. And crazy part about it is, probably like 70% of that school was black people. I ain't gonna hold you. And I mean, don't get me wrong, like the majority of us were athletes, and like a lot of them were from like Africa and like or different continents. So like they might have been from different places, but the majority of us, we was in there deep.
Right.
Now we was good in there. So yeah, that's where I had the majority of my experiences at. So it was definitely an eye opening. I'll never forget the time the campus has like this big hill that we had to walk up and down to get from the dorm rooms to like the cafe or something like that. And I was walking. I know I'm not supposed to walk by myself at night, but I was. I was walking by myself at night, and it was a truck full of white men, and they were just like driving up the hill ever so slowly and just like barking at me. And like, granted, like it took me a minute to like process what was really happening in that moment, because I'm just like, okay, you're driving up the hill ever so slowly, following me, barking at me for what? I was so confused. But yeah, that's like something I'll never forget as far as like that goes, because it was tough.
I just don't understand. Like, what's the hate? Like, why?
Right.
Why? Because if anything, if somebody has some hate, but we don't, you know, we just, hey.
But we can't talk about that.
Yeah,
we
we
start
can't.
talking about it. We harbor. You know what?
Yeah,
we ain't even gonna get into that right now. But y'all, today we're gonna talk about hardships a little bit. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
We're gonna dumpster dive into them. But what are some hardships you've had to endure in the past 5 years or so? I know that's deep.
I would say for me, shame. A lot. Shame has been one of those hardships that I had to overcome or go through in the past 5 years because of an incident that happened. So it took a major toll on my self-confidence, my self-esteem, and just, you know, in general, like serving God, period, because of everything that happened. So shame played a part in was a hardship that I had to face.
I feel that.
Yeah.
For me, I'd say that I had to go through a lot of grief, depression, and anxiety. My biggest problems have always been in my own head. That's something I still have to deal with. But then, like, when COVID hit, I lost, like, 4 family members in a month's time. So I was going to a funeral every weekend, almost. And it took a toll on me. My grades dropped for the first time in my life.
Yeah.
And I almost failed out of high school. And I had a couple of teachers that were kind enough to allow me to continue to work even though stuff was late. They let me turn in things that I hadn't turned in just because I just lacked motivation. So I've had to deal with that. There was a long period of time in like 2021, 2022. And I've been very transparent with other people. I saw a therapist because there was a lot of thoughts that I had the fact that I am sitting here today is like a big step for me.
Yeah.
So I experienced a lot of hardships. It's been like the worst 5 years, the last 5 years. But it's also been the best because I've seen what God can bring me through.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot, you know,
big.
to be able to, but like you've been through it, you know?
Yes.
So,
It's over now.
yeah.
So that's something I've had to deal with.
I'd probably say like depression, like junior year, high school, like it was bad. Like grandparents, oh well, let's get you a therapist. Okay, sure. I was up for the idea, and it was like it came to time like me actually opening up. Nah, I'm good. I just, you know what I'm saying. And it came to a point where like I was actually considering like. It was this pole I passed like off of like Last Cassis. It was this pole I would ride around the pole, and I was like, I ain't gonna lie, I was contemplating like running into the pole. Like it was like I'd ride around the pole like every day, and it's like no, but I would say like, you know, my mom, she ended up getting pregnant. It was an unexpected pregnancy, but like my baby brother was like kind of my saving grace. Like gave me a reason to like live again, because it was rough. I just felt really overwhelmed with life, and it just was beating me up, and I was beating myself up about it. And I was just like, well, I just, you know, maybe it's like better if I'm like, you know, just out of here. But yeah, I would say that was a hard time. And then there was also like another thing. I mean, I kind of still struggle with this. Is like, I guess like not being chosen first, like because
I feel that.
like my mom, she had me young, you know what I'm saying? Like she did what she had to do, but she was still a kid. So it'd be like, okay, she do her responsibility, you know. I was raised with my grandma. So like during the week, you know what I'm saying, I was with my grandma, and then on the weekend, like I go to my mom's, but I was getting shipped right back off to my grandma because, you know, my mom wanted to go out. And then it kind of took like her kids after me to like, she finally sat down and wanted to, you know, parent. And then same with my biological dad. Like I was his first child that he had. You didn't want to be there. But now like I go on Instagram and, you know, you're being a father to them kids. It's just like, what was so like wrong about me? What about me? Like y'all couldn't sit there and actually choose me first.
Right.
So, but I mean, I'm still working through it, but I also do kind of, now that I have been like growing, I just have been like, you know what, they're still living their one life and like they were young. So I'm just gonna give grace where grace is given. But like, yeah. I do sometimes sit there and thinking, I'm just like,
I feel that.
yeah.
Well, for me, it's a little bit of all of y'all's combined, honestly. I think the biggest one, though, is, like, my self-confidence. I say it all the time. Like, people have known me, like, 2021 in years under that. Me sitting here would just not be a thing. Like, I didn't want to be in front of a camera, really. I didn't, you know, talking to other people, just anything. Like, I mean, I was shy, but I was also a people person. But, like, now I feel like I've found, like, the better part of that. I also get in my head about a lot of things. Like, I just always struggle with me not being good enough. Like, I went through a time period where I had to delete all of my social media because I was seeing, like, people, like, having kids, getting married, getting that great job, graduating college, all the things that I have not done. And it was just, like, it started to play a toll on what I was, like, it distracted me from what my course currently was at that time. And like you, like, my grades started slipping, and not only did they slip, I let them slip, and I had to take a step out of school and get my mind focused and find, like, my reason why, and, like, not only just for school, but just to continue, because, and not many people know that about me, because I don't really, that's not something that I talk about a whole lot, because, I mean, people don't really assume that now just looking at me, but I don't believe in letting what has affected me in the past show on me now. So I'm always striving, and I'm always looking for ways, not necessarily to cover it up, but to find the strength to appear better, because I want to be better. So I feel like if I present myself in a better light, that I will be in a better light. And I mean, it's hard a lot, yeah. Like, I mean, I'm still currently struggling with it, with the feelings of, you know, not being good enough. And, like, I still feel like every day, like, am I, like, you know, people are really going to watch the podcast now that I want to take over it. Like, I want to be on the platform. It's like, I still struggle with that every day. And I want to be a teacher, and I want to be a special education teacher more specifically. And it's just like, do I have the strength to continue in school? Because, like, that's going to take some more schooling. And it's just like, am I going to be able to keep my head on a narrow path and narrow and straight, and realize that, like, you know, God has me on this path, and he did that to show me, like, I wasn't on the path that he wanted me to be on. So now he had to take me out of it and recorrect me. And so now that I'm on that path, like, I can't even allow those thoughts to happen anymore, because if I do, like, there's no telling where I'll end up, like, from where I was before. So I totally understand everybody's, because I feel like I've had a little bit of it.
I want to cut in and say, I commend all of us here for being here today. You know, everything that we went through, everything that we thought, you know, we've overcome that. Like you said, it's over now. You know, we've come to this point because there is something that we have to say, and someone needs to hear that. And I also want to thank God for letting us get to this point, you know, because it wasn't easy, and I love it here. I don't know about y'all, but I love it. I love the growth. I love the, you know, getting over the overcoming of it. So.
Yes, for sure. I'm with you on that one. I love that, like, I love asking people to be on it with me and saying like, oh, really? Like, yeah, I want to do it. Like, that makes me feel so great that y'all wanted to be here with me today. So like, there's like nothing more that I would ever want than to be able to just share and be open and have it be received and reciprocated. So I agree. Yes. How has those hardships helped your walk with God? Like, just how has it helped it along the way? Because I'm sure it took you out of it and put you back in it.
I actually want to start first because I have a really good answer for this.
Okay.
So I grew up in the church, but like my parents never made us really just like be into Christianity. We were just kind of there. They wanted us to think and choose it and didn't never like force us into it. But we was always in church. It wasn't an option to not go to church, but we wasn't always forced to pay attention. Right. So like right when everything was going down, I started coming into church more and more often and listening for like the sermon. You know, I would come for the music and then I just tune everything else out. I'll be so honest. But coming here actually was like that first step, that it was the first church that I listened to the sermon and looked forward to the sermon. That's what I actually came to church for. It was those hardships that started my walk, my personal walk with God. Like, and like seeing myself walk through this, like knowing what I've been through and how I felt guilty about how this was how it started. I know that God loves me and is glad that I'm here now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's been like, it's been interesting watching how like now I'm doing this for me, loving God and loving Christ and like helping other people and ministering to other people with that. Whereas before I was just there because that's what Black people do on Sunday morning. They go to church. So.
For sure.
I'd say, like, kind of realizing that, like, God is that rock at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like, it probably, like, you know, junior year kind of started getting into, like, okay, just kind of getting sad and stuff. And then, like, senior year, I was really sad. Like, came to the point where I was considering going into the Army and everything, like, you know. And then I'd say, like, okay, well, maybe I just need a new scenery. So, like, I went out to Memphis, and it was nice, you know, and then it just kind of got sad again. But I would say, like, having friends that were, like, heavily into the church. Like, because I had stepped away a little bit. Like, I always knew God was real, and, like, you know, I, you know, had my gospel music, but it wasn't, like, a priority as I, like, you know, try to make it now. And, you know, just having friends, like, they would, you know, we'd be doing homework, and then, you know, they playing gospel music. I'm like, oh, my gosh, like, oh, I remember this from when I was a kid. And and then, like, oh, well, we need to find a church. So it probably wasn't until, like, I got to college, like, you know what, I kind of want to get back right with Christ. And then I kind of fell, you know, a little bit into depression again this year, fall semester. Kind of was, like, letting my grades slip a little bit. And, you know, it's just, like, I have a tendency to, like, take on burdens that's not even mine. And it's like I think I'm like, you know, Captain Marvel. Like, I can save everybody, and I don't even be saving myself. And it wasn't until, like, Miss D, she was like, "Oh, you need to come to my church. You need to come to my church." I'm like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying. So I came to church, and I was like, okay, this was kind of hit a little bit. This is a good message. And then I just like, okay, you know, I went back to school, and I would, like, you know, listening, watch the lives. I'm like, okay, this guy trying to talk to me, you know. And then, like, I came back here, and I was like, well, you know what? Let me go, like, to church in person again. So, like, I went, and I'm like, okay. And then I was going to the call ministry, and I was like, you know what? I actually, this is like, it's like every time, like, I stepped in the church, it was something that I needed. I was always crying. I'm always at the altar. 'Cause it's just like, let me tell you, God is going to speak to you. Like, okay, like, you may try to push it off, but God going to have somebody speak to you.
For sure.
So I just say, like, just realizing that God is that rock at the bottom, and just, like, kind of growing through it, you know, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, it's helped. My hardships and God have all turned into one thing, like me being a leader. Me being a leader was not anything that I ever thought that I would ever be. Just because I like to, I'm a follow directions. Like I like tell me what to do type person. Like and I'm still that, but I think that I have learned through God that like sometimes it's okay to make decisions and not always expect someone to tell me what to do, how to do it, when to do it. For nothing else more of the fact that I'm an adult now. So it's a little different than when I was a kid. I've got to be able to make decisions and stand strong on my decisions, much like, make the decision to follow God and believe in everything he says. And I got to stand strong in that decision. And it's just kind of like, for instance, like the music, like you were talking about, like, you always listen to gospel music growing up with your parents and stuff like that. But it's like you just never, I never really, I'm not going to say I didn't connect it with it, but it didn't really I didn't understand. It wasn't something I was sitting in my car, jamming to till really the past 2 years where it's songs like Firm Foundation. That's the song that I play every time I get in my car. Is because I truly believe that he's my firm foundation, the rock on which I stand. I truly believe that. That's not just a song for me. And it's not the song that I connect to, it's God that I connect to through the song. And it's been amazing to see how my confidence has changed. It changes a little bit. It's not a big change, but it's enough to where
people notice.
Yes, and more importantly, I notice. I notice, my parents notice. So it's it is giving me the confidence to do some things that I would have never done had I not realized. Okay, God got me. I'm gonna get through it. I just need to put my trust in Him. So
I want to bring out the point that you said, with the gospel music, not really connecting with it until, now.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have that same type of testimony because you have to go through some things for God to be certain things in your life. Because when you're younger, you don't really, you're not going through nothing. Right. So, you just got the surface level. You just have the information. You know about God. You know about, Jesus and all this stuff. But as you go older and you go through those hardships, like you said, you have to depend on him for certain things, like Jehovah Jireh, my provider. I need you right now to provide for something. So, Jireh hits different now because I needed him to provide in the season. So that song hits different for me, when you sung it Sunday, I was like, Lord Jesus, whoa, whoa, what is going on?
For
but
sure.
Tearing up.
Yes. So, right, no, for real, that song, I was, But, just God has made me have a deeper relationship with him because I needed him in different ways through these last 5 years, I needed him to be a healer. I needed to be a provider. I needed to be a friend, a comfort, somebody I can talk to. So now sitting in his love is different. Sitting in his, grace is different because I felt that firsthand. So I think for me, how he's been there is just being my friend, being my friend and somebody I can lean on and that rock at the bottom, for sure. So.
For sure.
Speaking to your walk with God, helping your confidence, that's something that I've been experiencing as well. Because if you'd have told me a year ago that I would have joined the podcast, that I would be leading songs in front of the church, that I would be helping with Vacation Bible School. I ain't never been to Vacation Bible School before.
See?
But here I am this year, and my walk with God has helped my confidence in ways that I couldn't have imagined. Yeah. I'm so thankful for that because, everybody's always getting on my nerves talking about, you need to blah, blah, blah. You're so good at blah, blah, blah. And I just could never see it. Yeah. But, when you have those moments where you realize, the things that I could be doing right now, the things that I had been doing that I'm no longer doing, just because Christ is on my life.
Yeah. For sure.
I also want to add on, because it's when you're younger and you're in church and, you watching everybody shouting and you're like, okay, you're doing too much. Why are you, you know what I'm saying? And, my grandma, she always, the only radio station she got on is, the gospel station. I'm just okay, I love God and everything, but, can we listen to a little bit of R&B?
Yeah.
And I feel once you, get to the stage where, hardships actually start hitting, it's I see exactly why you be doing all that jumping. I see why you be crying at the altar. I see why you be playing gospel every morning because it's just God is really when nobody else is there, he's there. And it's it's sad that like, you know, we neglect him because like, okay, you know, he gives us like what we want, and then like we just kind of put him in the back burner and stuff. But like he's always there. He's always there with open arms.
For sure.
And it's just like, you know what? Thank you. Like I just
heavy on thank you for sure.
Just thank you.
Well, I'm gonna ask this last question, and then I'm gonna answer it first, so I can get through without crying.
Okay.
Right, baby, we needed to.
But has there and did
Jesus
did. Has there ever been a time when you've just stopped and been like, why me, God, like what's going on, why? But you knew that the only thing that you could really do in that moment, other than ask why, is say thank you. Well, recently I got into 2 car accidents they were pretty much back to back, because I got into a car accident, got my car fixed, got my car back. The week after I got my car back, got into another accident. Well, the second accident totaled out my car. It really wasn't even that bad, in my opinion. I still probably could have drove it. Yeah. But the insurance company I was working with wanted to total it out. So they totaled it out. Well, now here I am. I got no car. Like, you know, I'm a mover. I don't like being still. So it's like, yeah, it didn't feel right at all. Right. And I'm just like, you know, God, like, why? Like, I have enough bills to pay for, and they weren't going to give me like enough money to like buy a whole new car. I mean, they did, but it's like I wasn't going to get the car that I wanted. I was going to have to possibly downscale, like all these things. Like I didn't want to have a car note, because the car that I had at the time I didn't have a car note with it. It was mine. I wasn't paying on it. The only thing I had to pay for was gas. And I'm like, God, like, come on now, like listen, boss. I got enough going on. I don't want to have to look for a car. Let me tell you, that process of looking for a car, I commend everybody that had to look for a car, because my first car, it was given to me. Yeah. I thank God for that one. My second car was given to me pretty much. I had to pay a little bit for it, but it was pretty much given to me. And so this third car that I had to get, like, I had to go out there and look for it, talk to people at dealerships, drive around looking for somebody who was just selling a car, look on Facebook Market, all these things that I have never done before. I've never bought a car for dealership. Yeah. That's a stressful process. So I commend anybody who has ever had to do that, because it's not for me. Right. at least when you don't have the money to do it, right? Like, so it's just kind of like, I was like, okay, I get it. You know, you got to go through some things to get to what he's trying to bless you with. But like on Sunday, like I fell to the ground towards the end of church on my face, because I was like, just thank you. Because like the second car accident that happened, they hit me from behind. And if I hadn't have been looking in the mirror and paying attention, they would have got me. Yeah. And they would have not only totaled my car out without a question, they would have put me in harm's way for sure. I would have been hurt badly. I would have been in the hospital. So I just had to stop asking him why on Sunday, and I was just like, I just kept screaming, thank you, because like I'm not ready to go. I mean, I'm sure he'll tell me when it's time to go, but I was like, this ain't it, and I knew it wasn't it, because you allowed me, you told me to look up in that mirror and be like, get out the way as much as you could. So I thank God for that so much. And as much as I want to continue to ask why, because like I said, I didn't have a car payment before. Yeah. Now I've got a car payment, but I'll take that car payment over my life any day. So I that was mine. I'm doing all right.
While we're in that vein, like, I love that you came to the conclusion of thank you to the Lord. Yeah. And I've learned that for myself, like, back to Gyra, you know? Yeah. I would be content in every circumstance, like, through anything, there's always that comfort that God has saved you from something, no matter what you're going through. Yeah. And so I have come to the conclusion that I'm going to be thankful in anything. Like, thank you, Lord. This might have happened, but I thank you that this didn't happen, or that this taught me something, you know? So I think that, and when it comes to the question at hand, yeah, all the time. Why me, you know? Why did I have to go through that? Why did I have to experience that? Especially through this last situation that, you know, and it's still some things that I still have questions about that concerns it. Yeah. But I think now that I'm over the other side, I can see that there's going to be hardships with the call that I have on my life.
Yeah.
So some of the stuff that I was going through has to do with that, but there's, like this, I said, there's other questions, but in the end, I'm thankful for everything that has happened and what I've have learned. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
I probably would say like for a long time, like, I mean, I still go through it, but not as much as I did when I was like first introduced to him. Like, it was always, I knew that, like, I had a stepdad. He was there. You know what I'm saying? He very prominent in my life, as well as my grandfather. But like, when my real biological father got, stepped in, I really started to question my self-worth and also bring that hurt into relationships. Like, I'm trying to reach out to you, and it's like you'll reach out every blue moon, and then I'll sit there and explain my feelings, and you think you talking to my mom. I'm not my mama. And I just, like, I used to always, kind of just be jealous of my friends who they grew up in the,
Yeah.
2-parent household, and, you know what I'm saying? Like, all their, they have the same dad. And it's just like, but I, like, as I've gotten older, I've come to the conclusion, he's like, you know what? Maybe you weren't supposed to be a part of my life, but you were supposed to get me here on earth.
Right.
And because I'm supposed to do something on this earth. Now, it does, hurt my feelings. Like, every time I'll sit there and I'll go on, like, social media and I see, he's with, his other children. But it's like, I can't take my hurt out on their children because...
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? I'm glad you got the better version of him. Like, even though it is like, why does it take other people? Like, why am I always put on the back burner? And like, I'm still like learning that, like, maybe it's because like they're only supposed to be here for a certain, part of your life. But it is just like, I do sit here and get, like, angry about it sometimes. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm fully healed from it, because no. Like, sometimes it does trigger. Like, I'm always everybody saving grace, and, everybody always needs this from me. And, but nobody ever sits down to, choose me first. But it's like, you know what? I'm a reliable person. A lot of people, trust me. And it's like, you know what? Okay, if I'm a saving grace to people, if I'm an answer for people, then, I just have to be that for God. And... I don't mind it. Like, I'm just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Because it's everybody's going through something.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if I can be that person that can, like, sit there and stop you from being in a casket or, whatever the situation be, then sure. I'd rather have that. I'd rather have that. So,
yeah.
I'd say.
Relating to that, I always found myself when I was going through my hardship feeling guilty that I felt as bad as I did, considering that other people had it worse. I thought that I didn't deserve to feel as bad as I did. I told y'all I was going to cry.
It's all right.
Sorry. I thought I didn't deserve to feel as bad as I did because other people didn't grow up in a house with 2 parents. Yeah. Other people had other things to deal with. Like, I lost a cousin. I lost my aunt. My dad lost a cousin. My mom lost a cousin. People lost their mom, people lost their siblings. They're just, cousin and aunt to me, but I still felt bad.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, like, on top of that, how I was feeling towards school, I just felt guilty because I'm like, I could be working. I have friends who actually have, like, issues, like, real problems that they have to deal with, and I don't feel like doing anything, and I really don't have that much going on. Yeah. So I had to learn that, even though other people have it worse, other people have it better too.
Yeah.
To somebody else, your problems are terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like to you, other people's problems are worse.
Yeah.
So you don't have to feel like you don't deserve to feel bad. That doesn't mean you have to wallow in that sadness, because that is where it starts to get to be a problem. But having yourself feel sad, you shouldn't feel guilty for feeling sad. So then I had to be grateful that now I can look back and say that I'm not sad.
Yeah.
And thank God for that. When I think about those times, I'm not healed completely from it. It'll still make me cry if I talk about it too much. But, like, I can be grateful that I don't feel like I did then.
Yes.
Yeah. I also feel like that's just a sign of maturity, like, going through it. And, like, the fact that you looked at your past and you're looking at your future and you're able to say, well, yeah, I was going through it, but somebody else was going through something worse. Like, that takes a lot because, like, just by nature, we're selfish. Like, everybody's selfish. Just even the person who claims that they're not selfish, they're selfish in some way, no matter what, at some point in their life. So, like, just the simple fact that you were able to separate the two and stand back and say, I know I'm going through this, but maybe I shouldn't feel so bad because somebody is out there with no clothes, you know, something like that. Like, and I think about that all the time too. Like, so I get it. But that doesn't make our problems any less valuable, especially to God. Because like, he knew that we would go through it, but he also knew that we would need to feel the way we needed to feel to mature. So that's great that you were able to take that out of that, you know? So I commend you for that for sure.
Yeah. I'd say, yeah, that's like a problem. Like, just taking on people's, you know, like, oh, well, I feel bad. I feel like, you know, we always tend to, like, suppress our feelings and for everybody else. And, like, I feel like some instances, like, we do need to be selfless, but sometimes it's okay to be, like, a tad bit. You know what I'm saying? A tad bit selfish.
It's definitely
like,
okay to be selfish.
Like, it's okay to be like, no.
Sometimes.
Like, you know, because it's something, like, me, I'm not going to lie, I've been a people pleaser. Like, like
Heavy.
And, like, I'm just like, okay, I'm always considering about their feelings, and they never consider about mine. And it is, like, frustrating, and sometimes it does make me, like, when I think about it, it's like, I really should have. You know what I'm saying? That's not very Christian. Like, but I should have. You know what? It's like, God said vengeance is mine. So, like, whatever, which I don't wish no bad on nobody, but, like, whatever I thought I was capable of, well, God is way worse.
Yeah.
So I just, you know what? Just, like, yeah, like, the, you know, like, now in this generation, like, the get back culture. Right? And it's like, I've never been a person to, like, even if I thought about it, I don't have that heart to be like, oh, if you cheat on me, then I'm gonna do it. I cannot. Like, I cannot do that.
Right.
As much as I be, oh, well, it's not worth it, because, like, you can get in the mess, caught in the process. Like, oh, you cheat on him, and then, like, he cheat on you first, but you cheat on him, now you got something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just leave it alone.
Absolutely not.
Just pray on it. Pray I get over it. You know, cry, wallow in it a little bit, but, like, don't stay down about it, because
for sure.
Yeah.
God is gonna pull you through. Something I've had to repeat to myself, especially through this past season, this process that I'm going through, is God did not give us the spirit of fear. He gave us the spirit of strength, sound mind, all that. Like, he didn't put you on this earth for you to be afraid, to make a choice, make a decision, to love, to live, to laugh. He didn't put us on the earth for that. He put us on earth to develop, to grow, to mature, to earn our way into heaven. We can't do that by being scared, even if, like, everybody's sin is the same in his eyes. Like, there's nothing that you can do that outweighs somebody else's sin. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize, is, like, just because you think that they ended up in jail for something they did and you didn't, doesn't make their sin any worse. It's all the same. And, like, I've honestly recently just come to that conclusion, because, like, I know that's something that's always been there, but it's like seeing it for myself and really, like, just really thinking about it and, like, learning how to let go of things and not harboring on to the past. That's been a big thing that's helped me, is realizing that everybody's sin is the same for the most part. I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. So
nobody's perfect.
I have a question. So, like you said, the fear part, like, what's something that's been resonating with you in this season, like something that God has been showing you, or, like, talking to you, or, like, really dealing with you about? Like, I would say for me, Bishop preached this Sunday about I can do all things through Christ Jesus, and I think that's something that actually has been on my mind heavy, like, coming from, like, the self-esteem and all that confidence. Like, I have talents, I have gifts, and I can really do all things through Christ Jesus that strengthens me if I really want to do that. And I feel like that has been something that I've been cultivating and really sitting with, like, with my talents or my gifts and all this stuff, to, you know, that's just something that I've been, you know, to answer the question.
Right.
I'd say that there is a time and a place for everything, especially, like, with this mouth. I get really excited about stuff, and then like, okay, and then boom, it's done. It's shot. It's like, okay, I'm trying to learn how to be quiet. Like,
That too.
to be quiet, cause like God be, oh, like that's my man, my man. Oh, you think that's your man? Give me up. Like, got him. Oh, well, I guess he wasn't. Like, okay, I thought he was, and it's I just definitely say, and like, you know, you definitely have to, you know, speak positive in life, but not everybody is. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody is your friend. Like, I feel like definitely, like, of course, be a loving hand, but definitely, like, have boundaries and definitely have discernment, because, like, not everybody is your friend. Not everybody is,
Has
you
your best
know,
interest.
if, you know, people be wearing masks.
Yeah,
Heavy on that.
And then once they get what they got, they take it off, and it's like,
Gotcha.
yeah. So it's just like, I have to learn how to. And you know what? It's like when everybody, like, you know, doesn't know what you got going on, it's just like, you know, oh, what she got going on? You know what I'm saying? As far as like when, you know, you the talk of the town, everybody know you'll be, oh girl, she did. And it's like,
Messy gossip.
yeah. So I just say, just learning how to just, you know what I'm saying? You can be excited, but just be excited, and you know, until like plans actually fulfill.
Yeah.
I'd say.
That too.
Yeah.
I'd actually say I have the opposite issue where I'm so closed off from everybody all the time. There's so many people that probably didn't even hear me speak. They heard me sing, but probably didn't hear me speak very much for a long time. I'm learning to be more confident in myself and what I bring to a table. Because my issue always was, and when I first joined the call, I mentioned this to Kelsee and Lexi, that I was struggling with seeing where I bring value to relationships I was in, friendships and family and everything. You know, I didn't really see how I was valued or if I was worth even like really like speaking. I didn't think anyone would value what I had to say. So I would just be quiet. I didn't say nothing. I just sat in the back. But I'm learning that I can do all things through Christ. You know, I'm really learning that I can go out and people do care what I have to say. You can't make friends if you don't talk. I think Bishop said you can't meet Boaz from your house, like not too long ago. And I was like, you know what?
Go to the grocery store.
Maybe he's right about that one.
At least that. The least you can do is go to Kroger, little Walmart, all these even something. Like
some attractive people at Walmart.
But my thing is it's not like I don't go nowhere, but when I go places, I hide.
Yeah.
I don't say nothing.
So
I
then
be
it's
sticking
like-
in the background, so I might as well not have even gone because I don't say nothing.
I think it was like the singles night. Like, I knew you were in the call, you know, but you were very quiet. And then like the single night, like me, I'm very loud. I'm very energetic. I'm doing ad libs, and I'm, you know, just bringing a lot of, you know, big personality.
Yeah.
And like, I said, oh, you know, she's cool. She talks. Like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think I try to do that just so like everybody feels comfortable enough. You know what I'm saying? To bring, because you do have value, and you do like you know, everybody matters.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like, I don't want nobody to feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you should
Right.
count, like, no, like, share your talent, share your, you know what I'm saying? Like, I try to bring it out of people.
Right.
So, yeah.
That singles night was like probably the first time I talked to a whole lot of y'all.
Yeah.
But the only reason I was even that comfortable was because I brought Trey with me.
Yeah.
And man, me and Trey.
I can definitely tell your brother
we're
is your
not-
comfort zone.
Yeah,
like,
we act a fool. So like I felt comfortable then
Yeah.
because I let y'all go ahead and see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, maybe they didn't hate it because they didn't actively boo me in the
No.
room.
Why not? Like,
it's cool to see y'all's dynamic. I always wish that like
yeah.
me and my siblings cut up like that, because I mean we don't,
Yeah.
but I mean like
Bro.
y'all got
We
something
cut up-
different
we
going
cut up
on.
in the
And
most serious
it's cool to
situations.
see.
Bro, do
Sometimes-
not sit next to him at a funeral because you can't even be serious then. It's a mess.
See, I'm that person.
I'm that person. I really am. One thing happens, my mom elbows me and I'm done. I have to leave the room.
I'm definitely
I'm
like
over. I
And
laugh
then I just
at
start
everything. I laugh at everything. It is bad.
And it's not even, like, it's not funny. It's just like, I don't know how to handle, like, I just be.
I can't be serious. It'll be something that wouldn't even be funny if it was in a
Exactly.
funny situation. But since I can't
Or
laugh,
like,
now I'm laughing.
Sometimes I just think of something like, oh, and it's just like, it just gets me going. It's like, what are you laughing at?
I'm good for that.
Girl, you're not even gonna know. You're not even gonna know. Like sometimes it was a point like I kind of tried to be quiet because everybody like had a problem with it. Like everybody's like, oh, you always so loud. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna be quiet. And it's just like, actually, no, I'm not gonna be quiet. Like, y'all need to hear what I got to say.
Right.
Exactly.
I enjoy your personality. It
Me
like
too.
lights up the room.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, I do.
But I understand being told that you were too loud because, like,
Yeah.
I had that happen to me. People used to tell me all the time, they're like, you're so sarcastic. You're so mean. So I just was like, oh, I'm sorry. So I stopped talking because I'm like, I don't want to hurt nobody. I don't mean to be, like, hurting people's feelings. I laugh at everything. It's not even, like, a personal thing. I will laugh at any and everything.
Literally.
I'd be like, I start like now, like when people like, oh, you need to be quiet. Okay, I'll just shut up for the rest of my life. Like, oh my God, Smile, you're so dramatic. I'd be like, no, I don't care. Like, you made me feel bad, so I'm gonna make you feel bad. But I mean, that's not a way to think about it. But like, yeah,
Wasn't you just talking about how you don't do get backs?
I don't. But you know, like that. Hypocritical. But
On camera, too. 4K. Got you.
but no, I do. Okay. But then, like, I can never fall through with it. I can't. I just can't. You think I'm about to hide this from the world? Absolutely not. No.
Somebody needs it, you know?
Yeah.
Somebody definitely needs it.
Well, I guess to answer the question, mine is like decision making. Like, I always have the problem of like not thinking that my decisions are the wrong decisions. I'm a super indecisive person. Like,
Me too.
it's so bad. And like the older I get, like it's like the more I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is truly a problem. I cannot keep being this way.
Yeah.
I've got to learn how to make a decision and just stand on it. Like no matter who tells me it's not the right decision, because that's me. It's like I'm always worried about someone thinking that my decision is wrong. Like,
Do you like ask for people's input?
oh for sure. Like especially with like. I just keep using the car situation because it's the most recent thing where I like realized how bad I was. It's like, I'm like, okay, I really want this car, but it's got this many miles and it's this price. And then I'm like, well, there's this car, it's got this many miles, this price. Which one's the best one? I was like, I feel like I knew what I wanted, but then it was like, my parents were telling me like what was the best option, and my grandma was telling me what was the best option. Friends are telling me what was like. It's like,
Nobody else but you.
Yes, it is like I just forget that. You know, everybody can tell me what's the best thing, but I'm going to be the one driving it, or I'm going to be the one doing it. I'm going to be the one, whatever. Like, I have that bad not realizing that just because I'm asking for everybody's input, just because I want to please everybody, that I'm the one that's ultimately, like, going through it or spearheading it or whatever. Like, I forget that so often and forget to, like, really just think about the decision that I want. So I'm trying to get better about that. Hopefully I'll get better.
I'm the same way, but I feel like it's not all bad doing that because you get different perspectives and get like, because I like to have all the information when going into doing something, especially something like that. Like, is this a good car? Is this reliable? You know, is the mileage too high for this type of car? Like, I want to be able to have, I think it's good to have all those those opinions when it comes to certain things because you'll get all the information and make a sound decision. So
I remember because before I had a pixie cut, I had locks, and so like I feel like I was starting to like become my locks or whatever. So I'm like, oh, well, I want to cut my hair. So I'm asking people, no, girl, don't cut your locks. And what I do, I went in that bathroom and I got the chopping, and oh my goodness, your hair's never been so short, and that was like the best decision of my life. Like I thought I was that girl with them locks. Oh.
yeah,
That
pixie
cut tore him up. Yeah, that pixie cut tore him up.
They was like, who are you? You're only 20? Yeah. Yeah.
I will say, when it comes to decision making, whenever I'm asking for other people's opinions, like I make art a lot. So sometimes when I'm making things, I have to ask for other people's opinion because like when I'm looking at it, other people see something different. When I have in mind what I kind of want, I always make my vote worth 2 votes, whereas everybody else's is worth 1. Because that puts emphasis on your decision, especially if it's something you feel like you actually know what you're talking about, but you're still taking into account other people's information as well. And sometimes I ignore, even if everybody's telling me, hey, this looks better in red. I picked green.
That's good. Sometimes, like on Instagram, you can make them post. I just want to see if you was going to agree with me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'll be doing that too.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, how's this look? Which one do y'all like? And then I'll pick whichever one I like anyway.
I'll be like, yeah, you thought I was going to pick that one. I'm going to pick this one.
But it really does, like, sometimes making, like, a pros and cons list. I know it sounds, like, elementary, but pros and cons list actually really does help.
Yeah.
And, like, when you're doing the asking for other people's opinions, your vote is worth 2.
Yeah.
And then everyone else's is worth 1.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's good.
Wow.
Good
Juicy podcast.
Right.
That's a juicy episode.
That was meat and potatoes for sure. Meat and potatoes, yeah.
Yeah.
Girl, I'm hungry now.
Well, you guys, thank you for coming. Thank you for being vulnerable with me today.
Of course.
Of course, of course.
I hope to have y'all back.
Of course.
Probably.
And that's a wrap. Yeah. 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 Okay, twin.
Hey.
Okay, twin. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah.
We boldly proclaim our faith in Sunday school and public schools. From the sanctuary to the streets. This is the Call Initiative.